And welcome back to another exciting game of Ranking Ball. We are bringing you a great game today. We're bringing you the Detroit Tigers and the LA Angels. This is going to be a great home game. This is part of a 3-game series, and this is game 2, so let's jump right into it right away. So, we are back, and the trade deadline is 17 hours and 27 minutes away, and the first pitch of the second. Strike one, 92 miles an hour. So, if you look just at the numbers right now, I think I'm doing very well. I'm ranked 11th overall out of 174. Ooh, fastball right down the middle, 93 miles an hour by Verhagen. And now David Fletcher, is in an 0-2 hole and has to try to dig himself out. So, Brandon Fletcher, by the way, hitting 297 on the year. There's an off-speed pitch, far outside. Count is 1-2, no outs. David Fletcher, the first baseman, is actually hitting 297 and has 5 home runs and 39 RBIs on the year. So he is a threat. Boom! Gets a piece of it and fouls it down the left baseline. So the count remains the same, but Fletcher is a threat every single time that he is up to bat. And he's one of the reasons why I actually have him in my corner position. So when I look at my corner positions on my board, I consistently put high percentage batters. Ooh, and he gets a piece of it. That was a high. And it's popped up into right center field, and that is an easy catch for Castellanos. So that is one away. So David Fletcher up and down. So, go back to the trade line. Marcus Stroman was traded from the Blue Jays to the Mets for 2 minor league pitching prospects. So that is huge because the Mets might not trade Bumgarner now because they were kind of on that point of are we in, are we out in regards to the playoff hunt. So it looks like they're buyers, and it looks like they might try to make that push to see for the postseason, or at least be able to see, hey, we want to build off of Stroman and Bumgarner, and we want to have them as the anchor for our team going into the future. So that's an interesting purchase. So, Andrelton Simmons is up. He's hitting 275, 5 home runs. Ooh, ugly swing. 27 RBIs, and that was an off-speed pitch, breaking ball. And the count is 1-1, 1 away. So Simmons is also in a critical position. Now, Simmons, I know his numbers aren't not Simmons. Yeah, it was Simmons. Anyways, not the point. The count is 2-1, and I just need, I need Simmons to get on base here at least. And he connects with it to left center field, right at the warning track, in between the gap, and that's going to be good for a double, I believe. As he walks to second base, too easy for Simmons, which is phenomenal for me because, like I said, he is on my board, and that's exactly what I need, you know, from the people who are in the corners on my board. So you can see right there, just a curveball. Simmons gets a piece of it and just drops it right into the gap, right at the warning track, off the wall. And just Victor Reyes and Jacoby Jones just couldn't get there in time. So, LA has 1 man on base now. Ooh, 92 miles an hour. Strike one. So Matt Bass is hitting 225 on the year. He's 9 for 40. He has 4 home runs and 9 RBIs this season. So one of the reasons I didn't want to put him on my board, I was, you know, ooh, off-speed pitch. Strike 2. And you can see the umpire is favoring that inside line. So it's interesting to see how they kind of see their perspective. You can tell that his strike zone is, I would say, a little larger than the average strike zone. Now, I remember when I was an umpire and I was going through the courses and stuff to be qualified, they said the strike zone's as big or as small as you want it. If you want to get out of the game fast, you make it bigger. If you want it to be exciting, you make it longer. And there it goes. That's a 2-run home run. Oh my goodness. Diaz saw the ball, said, "You don't belong here. Let me take you back to your seat," and sends it. And oh my goodness, that changes the game right away, and that's not something that I was expecting, but I had a feeling that Verhagen was going to give up the big one at some point, and there it is. And LA takes a 2-0 lead in the second, in the bottom of the second with one away. That is unreal. So that's a huge, huge hit for Matthias, and that is his 5th home run of the year. Congratulations. Right there. LA fans excited, and whoever was there dropped the ball. And Simmons sees it, and they're able to walk in. So unbelievable, and that's the thing. I mean, DS is hitting 189 on the year. And just all of a sudden can come back and drop it like that. So that's awesome. That's exciting. I mean, and so now again, Verhagen has to get back in the zone. But I think it's too late for him. And there's another chip shot into center field, and that's going to be good for a single. Dustin Gurneau gets on base. Or sorry, not Dustin Gurneau. Louis Renfroe. And it looks like this could be the beginning for a very long night for Detroit. And I think this is where Detroit's true colors are showing, and the reason why they are at the very bottom of the MLB. And I just think that LA has too much offensive firepower to contend, to be able to be held back by Verhagen or the rest of Detroit's bullpen for that matter. So again, now for real, Dustin Gurneau is on up to bat, and they just checked the runner at first, and Dustin Gurneau hitting .238 on the year, has 2 home runs and 7 RBIs, but don't let those numbers fool you, because like we saw with Matthias, those numbers can change very, very fast in a very big way. Again, checks Renfroe. Man, I freaking wish I had Diaz on my board now. That's but again, those are the risks and the rewards that you play with and that you deal when you're picking your board. Ooh, fastball. Strike one. So there's one away. Verhagen needs to just find a way to get one out. Get a strikeout here. We're going to have to go right back to the top of the order, but get a strikeout here, and that's going to build your confidence and try to get out of the inning. There you go. Curveball, strike 2. So now against Gurneau, Gurneau is down in the count. So this is giving Verhagen a little more freedom with his pitches. Now, he doesn't have to get overly wild, and you don't need to throw like a slide or anything. But, oh, just fouled away. Just fouled away on that line drive. So Gurneau knows he has to at least go for some of these because he can't go down looking. And, Verhagen knows this too. So he's got to just be calm and be smart with his pitches here, right? But not necessarily just be smart with pardon me, the pitches that he wants to choose, but his location, Maybe a high fastball, tipped, fouled away again. But I would, when I've seen LA struggle, it's been against that high fastball. I'm talking about when you look at the strike zone in the square, if you go after that right above that line, and you throw a fastball, a lot of these guys are expecting, when you throw a ball that high, they're expecting a breaking ball, they're expecting that curveball, and they're expecting it to come down and drop on you. But that fastball won't. And there's a stolen base. In time, safe. But that is Verhagen's first strikeout as well. So Gurneau goes down. Wait. Oh. So they are calling him back to first because of the strikeout. Our officiating crew have oh, right there you can see. So Garneau just clips him twice actually with his bat on the swing. And so because of that, they're actually going to bring him back to first. So as I mentioned before, Verhagen needed to get the out, so he gets the strikeout there. So that's got to build confidence as we go back to the top of the lineup, and Brian Goodwin is back. And again, if Goodwin can get something, he is also on my board. So, but he has averaged 400 in his last 10 games. So I don't have him in a critical position, but I have him on my board. So that's kind of the important thing. Okay, and so there is a curveball far outside, but you can tell that the way the catcher's acting, that they are like, now that they had the one stolen base that was called back, they're very aware of it now, and so they're ready for it. They're ready to make that throw, and they're guiding pitches in a way to make that throw from home plate to second much more viable and much faster. You know, because when you're talking about making these throws, home plate to second is a very hard throw. Ooh, strike two. See, and that's an inside throw. So count is 2-2, 2 away. Verhagen has let 2 runs score, and has the ability to get out of the inning here, and I can imagine that he wants nothing more than to get out of this inning. And they check Renfroe again. They know Renfroe's a threat to steal that base because he did it once already. But he just needs to get out of the inning now. So 2 strikes, 2-2, high fastball. Let's go. Let's see it. Let's get Goodwin swinging. That's a high fastball, but it's popped up by Goodwin. And it drops into the gap, and that's going to be good for a base hit. And Renfroe gets to third. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so that just changed everything, because Victor Reyes was chasing after it, and Harold Castro was coming up from third base. So Castro in third base starts trying to track it but can't see it, and then Reyes is right there, and Castro just drops it. And you can see it's an awkward position, and it taps his glove and hits the ground. And Harold Castro is pissed about that, but Reyes didn't have the speed to get there in time. So, but you can see Renfroe, he's smiling about it. Simmons is smiling about it. That's awesome. Or Goodwin is smiling about it, and I am too, because now Goodwin is got 1 point on my board, so that helps me out for sure. And we have Mike Trout back up, and that's a off-speed breaking ball, 77 miles an hour, and he was walked earlier in the first inning, but we still have 2 away, 2 on base. Verhagen has already let the big one go. If Mike Trout can just destroy this and send this to outer space, curveball, outside, far outside again. If Trout can send this, and we'll put the game away essentially right off in the second inning. And I think at that point they might end up having to pull Verhagen, but with a 14.4 ERA, like, you got to know this guy's going to give up hits. And Trout pops it up, and it is just foul. And they didn't catch it. Who has the ball? Oh, there it is right there. So Mike Trout has, like I mentioned before, he has 34 home runs on the year, and that puts him in the top 3 for home runs. And so I think that he has the ability right now to really send it, especially against somebody like Verhagen, who I can tell is definitely shaken. Oh, and that's picked up by Harold Castro, and that's an easy pitch and catch to Nico Goodrum, and that's an easy out. So that ends the inning. Boom. And that's the home run by Diaz, and that was just a phenomenal inning. So LA is now up, and we can check the board. So first place has 25.95 points, and I am currently ranked 24th out of 174 with 16.85 points. So again, with this game, as you guys know, as I know very painfully, the score can change very fast in a hurry. Yeah, and so you can see, like I said, I'm 24th right now, so I'm definitely in that top 20%, which is awesome, and I'll take that for now. But that's not necessarily good enough. I definitely want to do better. I have points from Goodwin, the pitcher, Simmons, Calhoun, Fletcher. Trout hasn't done anything for me, and he is in a very critical spot. Harold Castro does have a base hit from earlier. Ohtani has a base hit from earlier. So I do have significant points that I've accumulated, but I am I'm definitely like I need more. So Cabrera, it would be great to see him next inning if he can actually do something, and we should be able to see. I think we'll see Cabrera again up. I actually forgot who is up next. I think it's Jake Rogers is up for Detroit. You know, Jake Rogers is hitting 236. Pardon me, as I mentioned before. So the board so far is looking good. I've gone with a very offensive focused board against LA, so I'm looking for LA to have a huge game offensively. It's great that they got 2 runs in the second inning. Now in the third inning, I need the pitcher to keep shutting out, keep getting strikeouts. I need Canning to really pull through here, and then I'm going to need a lot more offensive production from the big hitters of LA: Ohtani, Trout, Fletcher, Simmons. There's that high fastball I was talking about. So Jake Rogers, this is his major league debut, and so we have no numbers on him actually. And right now he's 2-0 in the count, and I don't have him on my board at all, but you know, what a great story it would be if he could hit a home run. Not against Canning though, not against my board. There it is, strike one. But you gotta wonder what he's thinking, because this is his major league debut. All his friends and family are probably watching the game. They might have even flown to LA to see the game. I don't know where he's from, but that would be, you know, ooh, that was far outside curveball and an ugly swing. No offense, but that was not a pretty swing. And the count is now 2-2, so now he is down in the count, not by much, but see what Canning throws at him. Is he going to strike him out? Oh, and he gets a piece of, oh, fouled away. Okay. So Rogers has got to calm down too, because you know he's making his major league debut. He's got to know that, hey, like I know he wants to get a hit. I know he wants to get a home run, and he wants to make a big play for the team, but also for himself. But he has to just relax. He has to just do what he's been doing for years. He knows how to play the game. Ball. So the count. So we have a full count, and Rogers in his major league debut can get, I mean, if he can get on base, that would be fine. I mean, I don't think that's going to affect my pitcher too much, but if Canning can strike him out, that would be great here. Let's go breaking ball. Boom! And he pops it up. That's fouled. That's that high fastball. What a perfect night. I mean, that's the kind of thing you're going to get in LA. You're just going to get perfect weather. You know, it's going to be warm, but it's an evening game, so it's like, it's a nice warm. It's not that blistering, like 3 p.m. hot where you're just sweating all over the place. Boom. And Canning gets a piece of it, and that is deep center field. And Trout is there at the warning track and gets him out. Wow, okay, so Jake Rogers, in his major league debut, flies out to Mike Trout in deep center field, and even though it's an out, I mean, that's got to be a weight off his shoulders to know that, hey, I can at least hit against these guys in the majors. And, you know, this is my first time. You can see his team is congratulating. Like I said, regardless of if it's an out or not, this is his major league debut, and that's got to feel pretty good. So, you know, it can only go up for him. And, you know, he's going to have a lot of at-bats today, I hope. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how the rest of his game goes. And if he loosens up a little bit. But you can tell after that last hit, like I think he got it, and I think that there's a lot of confidence that's going to build off of that. So it'll be good to see him kind of progress through his season. And there's a deep shot to center field to Mike Trout again, and Trout is there easily. That is 2 away, and that's Jordy Mercer, the shortstop, who's hitting 225 on the year, but flies out, and we have 2 away. And this is what I'm talking about. So, I mean, Griffin Canning has been very successful for me in the past, as I've mentioned before, but it's not just him. The defense of LA has been phenomenal, and when you have a player like a Mike Trout in center field who's able to, cover a significant amount of ground, it makes a huge difference, especially when you do give up hits deep, and kind of all over the place, like Canning has today. But we have 2 away. The count is 0-1. And I believe we are back. Yeah, we are back at the top of the lineup with Jacoby Jones, who, again, as I mentioned before, is hitting 236. Wow, look at that right there. See, that's something. That's those California nights right there. And that's someplace that I think everybody should be right now. How great would that be? Instead of if it's, I don't know if it's what the weather's like where you're at. It's raining here. Ooh, high fastball. Jacoby Jones almost swung for it. But Jones is 0 for 1 on the night. The 1-2 pitch. And Jones gets a piece of it right to the shortstop, Simmons. Oh, and that's, oh my gosh. Okay, and they just missed the throw at first. And wow. Okay, so that is good for a base hit for Jacoby Jones off an error, which is unbelievable. So, okay, so here we go. So here's the replay. So he 2-hops it to Simmons. Simmons throws it. Oh my goodness. And Diaz missed the catch. So it 1-hopped to Diaz, and Diaz just read it wrong. And so one of the things is Diaz is actually a third baseman. So him playing first is kind of new to him. So I want to excuse the error, but that's obviously not necessarily the best answer. And Canning just drives, and there's another out. That is an easy out for Nico Goodrum, who just flied out, and they get out of the lineup. So the error is completely eliminated. Doesn't matter. No worries. No pain lost. And we check out the board. So you can see the LA pitching has done phenomenal for me so far, and I have 12 points with my pitcher. Simmons has 3 points. Otani has 1. If we check the board, I am 25th overall. I have a score of 19.85, and B14WHDFH, I guess, okay, is first place with 28.95 points. And so if we take a look at their board, they too have gone with LA, Castro, but they went with Mercer. They've got Renfroe, but beyond that, we have the same board. They just have a different lineup, and you can tell that they have 2 bingos across the top and then down. And so they are first place right now. And let's see what else. Who else is on here? Okay, so Smith. So they're missing Kevin Smith, who is not playing today. And they're second, so that they won't be second for long, just because the way that this game plays, you need to have all your players perform, and you need to have your entire board full, especially when it's in a critical position like one of the corners. I do put a lot of value in the corners because you're getting a higher percentage return. You're getting 1.5 times for diagonal crosses rather than just up and down or left to right or right to left. So, I consider those critical points, and that's where I focus a lot of my my best players are in those corners. So that's usually how I play when I'm playing ranking ball. So and it's worked out fairly well today. So, and this is the end of the last inning. Looks like a goalie with his glove save. Castro with the great catch and the easy toss to Goodrum. Castro, who did drop the other out earlier in the inning. Yeah, look at that. See that right there. That is like That's the Instagram photo that you want right there. So Ohtani, 287 on the year. Breaking ball, 1-1. Ohtani so far is 1 for 1 on the night. As I mentioned before, he did get on base, and that gave me that's given me 1 point already. Fouls out, so 1-2. No outs. So yeah, so we do have Ohtani, and then we'll go back to Calhoun, Fletcher, Simmons, Diaz, Renfroe, and Gurno. Fastball, and that is a great catch by Jared Castro. And the throw is not in time, safe. So Ohtani gets us another point with a base hit. And Castro again cannot make that throw to first. Look at that. Great diving save by Castro. Turns and throws it off balance. And you can tell that off balance throw just took the trajectory off just by a few inches. Right there you can see. And so one hops. And just like the same thing that happened in the last inning to LA happens to Detroit. But as you can see anyways, even if he had made the throw to the right location, Ohtani was on base and would have been safe. It would have been close, but I think Ohtani would have been safe regardless. So that's huge for us. And the stolen base is in time, and Ohtani gets the second. That is a great steal from LA. Great call. And they know they got lucky on that one. And you can see right there, knew it was coming. And you have to get the tag first, and you can tell it's just seconds, like microseconds late. So that was a great call by the umpire there. And that's a one-hopper down the center. And that's picked up by the shortstop, and that is an easy out for Cole Calhoun. But Ohtani does advance to third. Or did he not? I don't think he did. So one hopper, yeah. Oh, and Ohtani just played it safe. But Calhoun was the easy out at first. So we still have Ohtani at second base. There's one away. David Fletcher is up. Fletcher's 0 for 1 on the night. Curveball. So he's averaging. David Fletcher is doing very well this year. Actually, he's averaging 297. Does have 5 home runs, 39 RBIs, and if you could get another home run and RBI here, that would be huge. He is in a critical part. That's a big hit to left center field right there. Victor Reyes is there in time though, so that's 2 away. And Ohtani is still stuck at second. And that's not what I needed from Fletcher at all, or Calhoun. So the momentum is slowing down a little bit. It looked like in the last inning, like LA was going to kind of take control and just be able to run all over Detroit, but just hasn't looked like that so far this inning. You know, they're getting hits, but they're just the exit velocity obviously isn't high enough, but then the angle of the hits that they're getting is just is not aggressive enough. Ooh, off-speed pitch, low and outside, ball 1. So Andrelton Simmons, shortstop's hitting 275. He is 1 for 1 on the night. He is in a critical position for me. So if he could do that again, that would be awesome. And then he gets a piece of it, brings him to his knee, but that foul's far outside. And you see the fight ensuing over the ball. So with 2 away, Verhagen, 51 pitches in, and we're only in the third. But Simmons has actually averaged 366 over the last 3 seasons against the Tigers. He has 26 hits at 71 at-bats. So that's obviously continued today. So if we can keep that up and get him another hit, a multi-hit game, and there it goes right to the shortstop. And that's an easy throw to first, and that's an out, and that ends the inning. And unfortunately, LA leaves another man on base, but Verhagen gets out of the inning without allowing another run score, which is exactly what he wants and needs. So let's check the board. And I've said this before, that this game can change very fast in an instant, and I am up to third place right now, behind the two positions that I mentioned earlier, Garen and B14WHDFH. I'm not gonna call that name again because that's just ridiculous. But first place has 29.95 points, and I have 28.85 points. So I am just 1.1 points out of the lead right now. So I am very close. So as I mentioned before, this game can change very, very quickly. But that hit by Goodwin and Otani obviously gave me a few more points, which is awesome. Now, I can only imagine what would happen if I had Trout, Fletcher, and Calhoun get some points. But that being said, I don't know what the other boards are. We're dealing with 174 different games or players. So, you know, obviously Trout, Fletcher, and Calhoun are popular players. And statistically speaking, they're very popular as well. So, you know, if they score, yeah, I might do better. But then a lot of other people might do even better than me. So it's a risky situation. But like I said, right now, you know, I have a lot of faith in my board and the players that I've selected, and then also, I mean, I'm in a good position right now. I'm in a very good position right now. So all we need is Griffin Canning, to keep pitching the way that he knows how to, and hopefully, hopefully we can just maintain this and maybe go up 1 or 2 more points, or 1 or 2 more ranks. And obviously, you know, 2 more ranks would be like ideal, but as of right now, I definitely want to maintain the position that we're in. But again, we're only in the top of the 4th, so it's going to be a very very long game ahead. So, and you can see, like I said, that California sunsets, that's it's hard to find that in a lot of places around the world. Let me tell you, to find a place that looks just like that, difficult. And Canning, right off the bat, first pitch of the 4th inning, and that's a off-speed breaking ball. And we do have Miguel Cabrera, 4-time American League batting champion, gets a piece of it in the gap in right center field, and that'll be good for a base hit. And he's going for second easily in time and gets the double. And that's Cabrera with the double. So that's phenomenal for him, because I do have Cabrera on my board, and so he does get me 2 points right there. Yeah, so drops right in the gap there, and then Cole Calhoun has to get it, and the throw obviously isn't going to be in time for second. So Miguel Cabrera, a very experienced player, been with Detroit for a very, very long time. Ooh, and that's an easy one-hopper right back to Canning. Makes the toss to Theas, and that's an easy out for Castellanos, who Castellanos now is 0 for 2 on the day. So we have 1 away. Yeah, he doesn't look that happy about that, but I don't blame him. So we need to see if LA can leave the Cabrera on base. But yeah, Brandon Dixon on the year is 255. Breaking ball, strike 1. So Detroit yesterday really opened up on LA, and that same firepower, that same offensive production just hasn't been the case here today. And like I said, I think this is the reality of who Detroit is as a team. You know, they're not a team that necessarily is going to be able to put up a lot of runs like that consistently. And, you know, they're not, you know, there's a reason that they're at the bottom of the MLB. So I think a lot of these games for, a lot of these teams who play Detroit are very much like, okay, well, we just have to do it. We don't like, and there's a tendency when you're, ooh, and that's a wild pitch. But Cabrera stays at second. I think there's a tendency when you're a player to want to just back off, drop the intensity when you're playing teams that you might not necessarily see as a threat. And I think that's what happens a lot. I think that might have even happened yesterday with LA. They were, going in, okay, it's Detroit, we'll be able to walk away with it, and then they gave up 7 runs. So I think after that, I think LA knows that they have to be able to bring that same intensity, that same pressure against Detroit that they would if they were playing, the Dodgers, or if they're playing the Houston Astros, or one of the other leading teams in the league. So, and that's the thing with baseball, because like I said, we've mentioned this before. It's completely unpredictable. So, it can go so drastically one way or the other. You never know. And there is strike 3, and Dixon goes down swinging, and that is the 3rd strikeout for Griffin Canning of the night. So that is phenomenal for him, and he is at 82 strikeouts on the year now. Boom, just outside. So Griffin Canning's on-base percentage in July is actually completely is significantly higher than when he's throwing his off-speed pitches compared to his fastballs. So I think he's thrown a lot of off-speed pitches, and they've done very well for him. So there's strike 1, again on that inside line. But Harold Castro is hitting .313 over his last 23 games. So and then obviously again for the year he's .290. So he's doing very well this season. And again, one of those players that I do have on my board on the year. And wild pitch in the dirt. So there's 2 away. The count is 1-1. Cabrera is on second. And hopefully Canning can get out of the inning here and get us some points. And if that's the case, if Canning can get us out of the inning, that would be phenomenal, obviously. That being said, Harold Castro is on my board. So, it can kind of go either way. And I'm good with that. Cabrera's still on second. It would be a shame that if Canning gave up a home run, tied the game here. But it would be interesting to see how my board plays out too, because Harold Castro is fastball, high fastball, 95 miles an hour, strike 2. Count is 2-2, 2 outs, 1 on base. Canning just needs to get out of the inning. Jordy Mercer and Cabrera joking. Cabrera's telling the outfielders to back up. Telling Mike Trout, you guys need to back up. Trout's not having any of it. 2-2 pitch, swing, foul ball. So Canning can get out of the inning with the right pitch. Just get another strikeout. That'll be his 4th strikeout of the night. And I've said this before, but that high fastball is the way that I would go. All day I would go high fastball, maybe even go high inside fastball. And because if he's favoring that inside, go high inside right there, right where the catcher's hand is. Put it high inside, boom. But that was a little too far inside. Now we have a full count. So there's only been a handful of Triple Crown winners over the last 80 years, and Miguel Cabrera was one of them, and he did that in 2012, as you can see from the statistics there. And he's still talking to the Angels, telling them to back up. And you can see kind of in the background with the crowd, they're actually starting to do the wave. So, strike 3, and that ends the inning. And Harold Castro goes down looking. And that was exciting. That leaves Miguel Cabrera on base for Detroit. But again, that's kind of been their MO because they don't have, it's one thing to get on base, but you have to translate that on base percentage to scoring percentage. And that's kind of where Detroit for the season has been really struggling with. But let's go back to the board. And as I mentioned before, these teams have the ability to like go up and down very fast based on your board. And I am currently in first place, but I'm going to be very conservative about holding on to that place. So we have a new second place as well, and so we can see what they have. So they have Trout, Castro, Cabrera, Fletcher, LA, Ohtani, Simmons, Calhoun, Mercer. So they essentially have the exact same board, except they have Jordy Mercer, and I do not. I think I have... do I have? Yeah, they have Calhoun. Fletcher. Yeah, they have Fletcher. Simmons. Yeah. Goodwin? Oh, they don't have Goodwin. So I have Goodwin. They don't have Goodwin. So that's the only difference between us. But I am in first place by a very, very narrow margin. I have 37.05 points. Second place is 36.95 points. And I've been in the position before where I've been first place, got overly excited, and that has come back to bite me very hard. So I am not going to get overly excited because we are still very, very early in this game, and we are only going into the bottom of the fourth. So we are just halfway through the game. But if we can maintain this position, I think we'll be okay, or at least this continual push and productivity. Specifically by the pitcher. Obviously the pitcher is the most critical part in this because that's going to determine, majority of the bingos that you get. And, LA pitching has been phenomenal. So I'm going to just roll with that one and just let's keep it going. So Verhagen is still in, and Thias, who hit the home run earlier in the game, high off-speed pitch on the outside. And this is a replay from the second inning where Thias just blasted it into right center field for his 5th home run of the season, which is awesome, which was a 2-run score. So Thias, 1-1. So Matt Thias is actually the first Angel in Angels history to have at least 5 home runs and 11 RBIs in his first 14 career games. So definitely a player of the future and somebody that you can see being around for a very long time. And if he can keep this kind of offense production going, then there's no reason why he can't be an all-star for many years and kind of be another anchor for the team, much like Mike Trout is. And if they're building for the future, then that's a huge, Thias is going to be a huge part of that. So 2-2, 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Thias again though is 1-1, and like I said before, his batting average prior to this was not the highest. It's like 189. So if he can keep that up though. Ooh, and Thias goes down looking. That is another strikeout for Verhagen. That's only the second strikeout of the night for him, though. But again, you can kind of see Thias. That's where his batting average has been roughly. That off-speed breaking ball, 78 miles an hour, and it just drops like that. You see that. Thias knows he probably should have swung for that one. So, Verhagen hasn't had the best outing so far this game, but obviously I've always mentioned before that getting that first out, getting that leadoff out is so critical because it sets the tone for the inning. And so having that strikeout right off the bat, I think that's going to be huge. But yeah, so Renfroe, 1-for-1 as well. Count as 1-1, 1 away, 2, and it is 2-0 for LA. Some lucky Angels fan got the ball. Or is he crying? No, he's excited. I can't tell. It looks like he's crying. I don't know. Yeah, Verhagen's getting up there in pitch count as well. About to break 60 pitches for the night. So, I mean, we could probably have him for another 2 innings, depending on how this one goes, if it goes long, and depending on LA's offensive production. Getting a new ball. Renfroe, like I said, 1 for 1 on the day, but hitting 248 on the year. 1-1, gets a piece of it, and that's stopped by the shortstop. Doesn't get a handle on it, doesn't make the throw at all. Something happened there. He might have landed on his wrist awkwardly, but that's good for a base hit, and Renfroe gets on base. So you can see, drives it right down to Jordy Mercer. Oh, and right there, Mercer just loses grip on it when he makes the transfer from his glove to his hand. Diving catch though, goes to pick it up and just slips right out of his hand. So that's one that Mercer wants to have back. But we'll see how that plays out, obviously, because now we have Dustin Garneau, and it's just making a 22nd start at catcher this season. And he fouls out, so that's strike 1. Garneau hitting 238 on the year, pardon me. 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. And so I don't want to discount him because, like Diaz, who I did discount, hit the only home run so far of the game. At some point, he's going to hit another home run, and that could be today. He's only got 2 on the year, but that could change, and we could make it 3 today. We could make it 4 today if he's having a really good day. Off-speed breaking ball, strike 2. And now Garneau is down in the count. There's 1 away, 1 on base. But after Garneau, we go back to the top of the lineup with Brian Goodwin. So if we can just get back, once we get back to Goodwin, that's when. Oh, and he gets a piece of it right to the shortstop, Jordy Mercer again. And that is 2 away. And that is going to end the inning right there off that easy out. And we're going to go to the bottom of the 4th. Yes. That's close. You know what? He's safe there. I think he's safe there. I don't think that they got the throw in time. They might have to review this one because I don't know if he actually got out. And it looks like they're talking about it. So that might be something that they actually have to go back and review. And there it is right there. So there's the challenge. So the umpires are looking through this throw. And this would end the inning, but they are going to challenge it. And we're not seeing there's the replay right there. And so he slides in, and this is not the angle that we're going to want to see. But because you can't tell. But here, this is the angle that I think will be best. And so he slides in, and you can't really tell when he touches the bag there, but I think he. See, it's very close. Right there, he touches the bag. Right there is where he touches the bag, and the ball is not in his glove yet, and he does not have possession of the ball. So that is a very tight call, but I think he is actually safe. I think he's safe. That is a tight call. But when you look at the replay, there it looks like he beats the ball by maybe a millisecond. But the umpires are still reviewing this, and so they actually take this back to New York, and that's where the New York umpires is where they actually they call them out, and the reviewers say that the call stands, and they're calling him out, and so that's going to take us to the top of the 5th. Wow, so that ends the 4th inning, and I'm speechless for that one. That one I did not expect. I thought that he was actually safe. I didn't think that he got out, but discretion goes to the umpires, and so you know, even with the challenge, and that was reviewed in New York, they're going to maintain the call. So let's go back to the board and see if anything has changed. And nothing has changed at all. So we are still 37.05 points, and second place is still 36.95 points. So very, very close race between us, but obviously my board so far is holding strong and I'm doing very well. So excited to kind of see how the rest of the game plays out. You know, it's getting close. It's getting very close right now. So and as I've mentioned, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very excited right now because I am first, and it's cool to be first. You know, you're first or you're last. But I am obviously very nervous to see how the rest of this game kind of plays out. And obviously we still need a lot more offensive production from LA to just maintain that lead and just to make sure that that lead sticks. And as long as we do that, I don't see any problems for us. But you know, Griffin Canning has been pitching phenomenally so far today. So really happy with his production and what he's been able to do. And if he can keep that up, then we're good. If not, I'm going to drop down to like 80th place again and then talk about, you know, how I made the mistake of you know, talking so much trash about I know what I'm doing. And I took a lot of crap for that from a lot of people about talking about I know what I'm doing and then not. So and so there's Otani with a bunch of Japanese fans. So obviously, you know, baseball is huge in Japan, and so, you know, him seeing with his fan base is awesome. So you know, it's LA. They'll get a lot of Japanese Americans out to the game to see some of these players. And you can see there's a huge Japanese contingent right now. You know, and it's the exact same for Ryu from the LA Dodgers, the pitcher, the South Korean pitcher out of Incheon. So, you know, wherever he goes, regardless of the ballpark, there's a large Korean American community that comes out to watch. And there's a bunt down the third baseline, and it is dropped by Fletcher. Fletcher tried to barehand the ball and dropped it, and that allowed for a base run by Victor Reyes, and that's a perfectly executed bunt. And you can see Fletcher went to pick it up and throw it and went into the throw just before he had possession of it, and just, yeah, and he was thinking about the throw before he had the ball. And that's the same thing that happens a lot in other sports too. Like, you'll see a lot of receivers in the NFL, and they look upfield and look at the run after the catch without actually making the catch. So it's a very common thing to happen. So unfortunately, that, you know, Canning gives up one base run. So that's a small price to pay, though. For what we're doing, it's a small price to pay. It's just going to add up to a double play for us later on in the inning. Just watch. I'm going to call it right now that there's going to be a double play this inning. I think Jake Rogers, who again, his MLB debut, he's 0 for 1. I think he'll get like a base hit, but it'll go to a double play. High fastball. 1 and... Oh, okay. 2-0. So, Griffin Canning scoring a significant amount of points for me for today. So we just need to keep that pace on board, and we'll be good. And he gets down in the count, so that's low and outside curveball, and it's 3-0. And Jake Rogers, the rookie, again making his major league debut, has got to be feeling good about where he's at, because he can go ahead and swing and kind of have fun with it, being up on the count as much as he is now. So there's no pressure here. And there's that high fastball, 3-1. So you can see he's getting the call from the first base umpire, or third base coach, trying to get an idea of what he's going to do. Now, interesting enough, I actually have a friend, a coworker, who sent me this video, and they have actually created an app that will... Ooh, oh, again, see that umpires, that outside line, he's just favoring it. There you go, you can see the calls right there. So, and what they were explaining is that there's two things. There's a bunch of BS that they do when they, like, Like, but there's two things. There's a signifying call, and then there's a call. So basically, if I do this, and this is going to say, like this is the signifier, the next thing that I do, that's going to be, and there's a grounder right to third base at Fletcher, and Fletcher does make the catch and get the out. So that's one away. So, again, Jake Rogers in his Major League debut gets thrown out. Wait, what? Oh, this is from a previous game against Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. I guess this is just happening live. And there's a unbelievable, this is like ugly fight. Like this is like that ghetto street fight stuff. This is, oh my, like they are tearing people off each other. So that's happening right now actually in Cincinnati. It's a high curveball. And I don't know what happened to start this. And you can see the umpires aren't even bothering to get in. They're going to throw people out. But it looks like Barrett started that. I'm not sure from what aspect. Man, that's ugly. And you hate to see that in sports, but it's part of it. And they're getting a call, and that's a strike. So they said that he had swung just enough to get the strike. What happened here? Man, like they are like Cincinnati and the Pittsburgh Pirates are just like that. What the heck is going on? Shouldn't have said that. Oh man. Okay. Is that another high fastball? So it'll be interesting to see, I guess, once the dust settles in Cincinnati, what happened there and why this is going on. But this is, there's going to be a lot of fines. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of ejections. But clearly emotions are running very high out there right now. Curveball. Strike two. Count is 2-2, 1 out, 1 on base. But as mentioned before, Jake Rogers, in his MLB debut is 0 for 2, but advances the runner from first to second, so sacrifice fly. And now Jordy Mercer, the shortstop, who's hitting 225 on the year, gets a piece of it again, but that is fouled away. Count stays at 2-2. Canning's at 69 pitches as well, so his pitch count is getting up there. So we might only see him for one more inning. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how that plays out for him as well. But Canning has pitched a very, very solid game right now, and I can attest to that because of my board and the success of my board. Ooh, strike three. Strike three. That is the 5th strikeout of the night for Griffin Canning. And Jordy Mercer goes down looking. That is awesome pitching. So now we have 2 away. So as you can see, Canning Griffin has 5 strikeouts on the night. He's been doing phenomenal. And this is the kind of production that you want to see out of your bullpen, especially later in your bullpen. That's the kind of production that you need to see, especially if you're trying to make that push later on into the postseason. And if you're like LA, where you're on that bubble of being a few games back out of the wild card. And was that a swing? Ooh, first base ump says that was not a swing, so ball 1. Jacoby Jones, 0 for 2 on the day. Did cause an error earlier in the game, in the 3rd inning. So 2 outs. Count is 1-0. 1 runner on base, on second. And Griffin Canning could keep doing what he does and throw another strikeout. High fastball, ball 2. And Dustin Garneau comes out to talk to Canning. So probably just saying, hey, this is what I'm seeing. What do you want to get to eat after the game? Yeah, probably Jack in the Box. It might be Jack in the Box. Who knows? Probably gonna have to change that and edit that one out. But yeah, so Griffin Canning is here. And after their little powwow, actually I don't know if I'm allowed to say that because that might not be politically correct. After their meeting at the centralized location of the field, we'll see what they come up with 2 away, 2-0. And that, like I mentioned before, so the umpire is favoring just outside the strike zone, a little wide for a strikeout. Oh, and there's a selfie with the camera. Those girls look pretty cute too. It's a selfie I want to be part of. But that pitch was just a little too far outside, and they end up walking Jacoby Jones, and Canning allows another runner on base. So now they have the go-ahead run on first. So Griffin Canning, not exactly what we wanted out of him for this inning. And oh, here we go. And it looks like the manager's going to come out, have a talk with him, probably just calm him down. Yeah, so you can tell that they need to talk about this. So he's probably just like, hey Griffin, so, you know, there's this guy Jin, and he's got this ranking ball board, and you're kind of screwing him over right now. So what we need you to do is we need you to get a couple more strikeouts. Just get another strikeout, and so we can get his board back in order. So that'd be really great if we could do that right now, Griffin, because he needs the points. Can you do that? Yeah? Okay, cool, great, awesome, thanks. All right, good job. That's the conversation right there. So I can read lips, and so that's what they were saying. And as you can tell, you know, my pitching hasn't progressed the way that it was earlier in the inning, and you can see the bullpen is already warming up. So 74 pitches, this might be the last inning for Griffin Canning, or they might pull him even if he allows these runs. Ooh, and there's a hard swing and a miss. 0-1. Nico Goodrum is 0-2 for the night. He did have a strikeout and a line out, but his season average is 248 on the year. And he does have 10 home runs and 35 RBIs, so if he cannot get any more home runs or RBIs tonight, that would be phenomenal. And I would very much appreciate that, and my board would too. And he's 0 for 2, so let's go 0 for 3. Ooh, fastball, strike 2. 94 miles an hour. Get some swinging again. So, maybe curveball? Actually, an off-speed breaking ball would be great right now. So you've thrown 2, but I mean, that's almost too predictable. So at that point, it's like, oh, he's thrown two fastballs. That off-speed breaking ball is expected, almost, right? So maybe you just keep with the fastball at that point. The 0-2 pitch gets a piece of it, and again, so you can see 95 miles an hour, so that's another fastball. So he was trying to get him for a third time with another fastball and get out of the inning, but doesn't bite the way that he did in the first 2 pitches. So now maybe you look to that off-speed breaking ball, you know, or change the location of that fastball, because the 3 fastballs that you threw are all right down the middle. So maybe like that high fastball gets a piece of it, and again, fouled away. So again, Canning is getting his pitch count up there. That guy got the ball. Super pumped. Not going to give it to his girlfriend, though. He's going to keep that for himself. She thinks it's hilarious. I don't know. That's the one thing that I've always worried about. If I get the ball, I'm going to have to give it away to like a kid, or there's going to be some girl there, or whatever it is. And there's that high fastball. Again, Goodrum gets another piece of it. And Canning is about to break that 80 pitch mark. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going into the 6th inning, whether or not they keep Canning. And even this inning, like I said, this inning is still not necessarily done. So I think he just needs to get this out, get this strikeout, get me some points, and get out of the inning. And the 0-2 pitch. Ooh, low. And the runners advance off that. So the runners were at first and second, and because of the wild pitch that was dropped by Garneau, the runners advance. You can see that low curveball, and Garneau gets a piece of it, but it just gets behind his glove. And so that's more than enough to allow the runners to advance. And now we're in scoring position. So now you have to be very, very cautious on what you're going to throw. And more specifically, the location. You need to have pitchers who have great control of their pitches. And there's a low curveball to deep center, and Mike Trout is there, ends the inning. And again, Detroit leaves runners not only on base, but in scoring position. And we're going to the bottom of the fifth. So let's check the board and see what's happened here. Boom. 7.5 points. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So my pitching has 7.5 points now, and I'm currently in third place, it looks like. So my collection 555 has 40.95 points in first. Checked point has 40.45 points, and I am sitting now in third place with 39.55 points. So if we take a look kind of at their board and see what they have there, Goodwin, Castro, Cabrera, so they have Mercer too, but it hasn't really done much for them. So they have 3 bingos. So I mean, I'm there, like I'm close. Obviously, if Castro can do a little bit more for me, that would be phenomenal. But you can see, like I said, these positions can change very radically all over, and it's very interesting to see kind of what can happen. But as long as you have some of these numbers in place, then that's going to be kind of the important thing. So I believe we have Drew Verhagen coming up, and who will still be pitching. It'll be interesting to see if he is still in there or not, but I think he will still be the pitcher. And then we do have Brian Goodwin as well. So Brian Goodwin, again, so we will be starting at the very top of the lineup, and Brian Goodwin is, again, hitting 287 on the year. So hopefully, and he is on my board. Like I say, he's not in a critical position, but he is on my board. If he can just get some sort of offensive production, it would be great for us, obviously. I mean, that would be huge. So, look at that America hat. It's a patriot right there, with the Hawaiian shirt. That guy likes to party. Like that's the guy that knows where the party is after the game. It's guaranteed the players are calling that guy and like, yo, man, I'm gonna go light off some fireworks and celebrate freedom. Like that's the guy to call. I joke, but I actually have a lot of relatives that would be very much in line with his fashion choices. Okay, so Brian Goodwin, 1 for 2 on the night. He had a single in the second, 289 average, 9 home runs, 28 RBIs, is 0-1. Ooh, high fastball. See, that's the thing. Like again, that strike zone, what you see on the screen is a rough representation of where the strike zone roughly should be. But when you're in person, it's a very fluid location. And so even though it's not necessarily in for the umpire. And so we have to be very aware of that. So, but yeah, so the count is 2-1. There's no outs. And it would be great for Brian Goodwin just to get a hit here. Ooh, wow, okay. Off-speed pitch that was far outside, but they're going to count that as a strike. So again, like I mentioned before, we're talking about a strike zone that is very fluid, and as you can see, in the matter of multiple pitches, it's moving around, and Goodwin gets a shot down the right baseline, deep right field, and that's going to be good for a double. Castellanos gets to it and rifles it back, but obviously not in time. So Goodwin gets a single in the second, now a double here in the fifth, and he's on his way. Boom. Look at that, perfect placement. Drives it right into that right corner and really forces Castellanos to make a run for it. So that's awesome. So that's huge for us right now. And so, again, we have Mike Trout up, I believe. Yes. So, again, Trout is hitting 298 on the year. And if anyone's going to hit a big one, it's going to be him. Ooh. Off-speed pitch, but good for strike one. They did walk him early in the year. And actually, Mike Trout leads the MLB in walks this year with 83 for the year. So, again, off-speed breaking ball, and Trout goes fishing for it. No pun. Well, no pun intended. Pun intended on that. So Trout goes fishing for it and misses it, and that's an ugly miss. And so now he is 0-2 in the count. That's funny to me. So the 0-2 pitch, and Trout gets a piece of it and pops it up, and Brandon Dixon is there, and that is an easy out. And Trout is 0-2 on the night, which is not what we needed on our board. And now it's one away. And this is a play from earlier with Ohtani, with the error that allowed him to get on base for the second time, and then his stolen base, which was huge for us, by the way. So Ohtani, and again, you can see he's got a lot of Japanese fans, obviously, coming from Japan himself. He's 2-2 on the night. And that high breaking ball. And you can see they're putting it out there in that position because they see Goodwin and they think that he's going to steal the base. So when you're making that throw in that position, that allows the catcher to get up earlier and obviously in a much, much better position to try to throw him out at third for that stolen base. But yeah, Ohtani, 2-2 on the night. Let's keep that going. He is in a critical diagonal position right in the corner for me. So we need a big play from him right now. And that you know, I'll take it. That is a... oh, and Goodwin's going for home, and Goodwin will score, and Ohtani gets the RBI off a single shot to center field. And that's huge for us. So Ohtani will get an RBI, so that's going to give us a lot more points. And you can see the Japanese fans are pumped about that. And that's what you want out of your designated hitter. You need that consistency, and Ohtani gives that to them consistently, week in and week out. And it's a beautiful hit right over into center field, right in the gap. And Jacoby Jones has to get there, but Goodwin just has the speed, and they're not going to catch him at home. So that's great. So now LA is up 3-0 in the bottom of the fifth with one away, and Ohtani is on base. And Cole Calhoun is 0-2 on the night. While they check the runner, they check Ohtani on first. And you can see the defense now has shifted significantly. So what Cole Calhoun needs to do now is he needs to swing a half a second late on the pitch. He pops it up, and he knows it's not good. And Jacoby Jones is there to get under it, and that's 2 away. That's an easy out, and Ohtani gets back to first. And Cole Calhoun now is 0-3 on the night, and that really is unfortunate because he is on my board. Again, not in a critical position because I think he's only hitting like 238 on the year. Yeah, he's only hitting 238 on the year. So I, you know, if the players that I'm putting in the corner position, I'm usually expecting about a 280, 285 batting average or higher. I don't want to put somebody who has a low batting average in there just because it's not, you know, yes, you can have a Matt Diaz opportunity where they hit a home run, but the percentages of that are so low. Ooh. And they go to try to snipe Ohtani at first, but the throw's not in time. So you can see Detroit now is very, very conscious and very aware of these stolen bases that can happen, and they're definitely worried about it. Now, I mean, obviously they should be, because you know, with Goodwin, had he not stolen the base earlier, you know, he would never have scored on that, on the single by Ohtani. So it is a very credible threat, obviously. Fastball, strike one. Count is 1-1. 2 away. LA leads 3-0, and 1 runner on first. I love the graphics and stuff that they have for Ranking Ball. It's been great. Like, it's really cool to, like, even if you're not able to watch the game or watch my stream, you can still watch what's happening with the graphics. And there's a 2-hopper to the shortstop, not in time, and that's another error. So Jordy Mercer again is not having the best night and drops another ball, and so that is his second error of the night. Oh wow, okay. So so again, Mercer having trouble getting a handle on the ball, and there's a 3-hopper and just pops right into his stomach and just can't hang on to it. And the throw is then not in time. So this has kind of been, again, like the story of Detroit. And again, like when you're not getting that defensive production out of your infielders like this, that's going to be a huge problem when it comes to like winning games. And so, because obviously you're just putting more runs on base, right? More potential runs on base. And when you have, especially like right now, we're in a very high position in the lineup, or well, we're getting to that latter half of the lineup. But Simmons is still a very, very credible threat, hitting 275 on the year. You know, 94-mile-an-hour fastball, fouled away, 0-2. This is exactly where Verhagen wants to be. He's about to break that 80 pitch mark. He just wants to get the 3rd out, end the inning, and we'll go into the 6th. But that being said, the damage is done because LA is up 3-0. And Simmons can really do some damage here. So we'll see how that plays out. And that would be great if he could, because he is in a very critical spot on my board. 81-mile-an-hour off-speed breaking ball. And so it'll be interesting to see how Verhagen gets out of this inning. Because as mentioned before, I mean, we had the same count, you know, with the last at bat, and ooh, very inside. First base says that it's safe, so the count goes to 2-2. I think that wasn't. I think I saw a half swing, but when he pulled back, I think it was because it was so far inside that he just didn't want to, like he just didn't want to get hit, so he pulled back. So I think that had the ball not been that far inside, I think he might have actually been called out on that one. So it'll be interesting if we could get a replay on that one. But Anderson is in the bullpen, warming up for LA, so it might be the last of Griffin Canning for the night. And there's a line drive down the left baseline, fouled out, and you can see as soon as he picks it up to toss it to some lucky fan, all the hands go up, so all those people want the ball, and that would be the hard part, picking who deserves to actually get it. I would just toss it out there and let them fight for it and say, I don't want to even, like, you know, I don't want to have to single somebody out or like make eye contact with somebody and then not give them the ball. You know, just weird stuff like that I would be thinking about. But Verhagen at 82 pitches now for the night. The 2-2 pitch. It's popped up. And count remains 2-2. 2 away. LA leads 3-0. 2 on base, first and second. And Simmons looking to get his 6th home run of the year. He's looking a little stressed. He is 1 for 2 on the night, but obviously a home run here would be huge for not just him, but LA. And if they get a home run here, and if they're able to score any more runs on the night in this inning, That could end it. And Simmons pops one up right into shallow left field, and that is an error. 3 Detroit Tigers are in the area, and 1 run will score. And Ohtani gets home, and again, the Detroit defense costs another error with 3 Tigers in the same region and nobody calling the ball, drops in between them, and Detroit goes up 4-0. Oh my gosh. So Simmons hit that, and you can see, look, he thinks that's out, but there's 3 players and nobody knows who's going for it, and Mercer's there, and Jacoby Jones is there, and Victor Reyes tries to dive for it, but isn't going to make it in time. Oh man, that is, wow, that is a combination of luck and just ugly defense, and Detroit is just, oh man, and that is, okay, so we will be going to like a quick break there, but it looks like Verhagen's night will be done now, and LA is up 4-0, and there are runners on second and third in scoring position, and it looks like they are going to pull Verhagen before this inning gets out of control. So they just need to get out of this inning. But I got another bingo on that last one, so that is huge for me. So let's just check this out very quickly. And then I think, so I am currently ranked second. So I got back up to second now, and I've got a fairly comfortable lead in second with a 56.8 score. First place is VIERI 9 with 60.85. So yeah, about 4 points back, but then I'm 3 points up on third place. So that's that hit from Simmons, and like I said, Ohtani, who's had a phenomenal game, Canning, who's been great at pitching, and then Simmons with that RBI, the RBI double was huge for me. So that gave me a great score in my bingo, and so obviously that bumps me up to second place, which I believe I was down to 6th at one point, and then got back up to second. So great inning so far. But unfortunately, that is going to end our live stream for today. If you want to come back and check out your score in Ranking Ball and how I did and how I finished and how you finished in this game, make sure to come back and check rankingball.com and check your mobile application and check your scores and receive all your gifts and prizes. Good luck, and remember to rise through the ranks. And from everybody here at Ranking Ball, we salute you.